everyone, I'm Mary and I'm the creator of Reflective Zines. My Instagram tag is just Reflective Zines, and my Etsy shop is also just Reflective Zines. I mostly make zines about mental health. I feel that there's not a lot of mental illness and mental health portrayed in mainstream media, so my hope is to create media and also self-help about how to cope with mental illness and how to improve your mental health. So some of my zines are about first-hand experiences that I've had with mental illness and other experiences that people have had. And then I have some zines of poetry about, again, my experiences. And then I also have a zine, just a factual zine about mental illness and women. So I figured I would show off my mental health zines first. One of the very first series of zines that I made was a DBT series. DBT is short for dialectical behavior therapy. It's a type of therapy that is used for mood disorders, trauma, and personality disorders, most, but it can be used for other things. And it's basically a collection of skills and habits that you can develop to live a happier and more peaceful, more successful life. Successful as in self-fulfillment. DBT has a collection of short skills, and one of the skills that I wrote about is tip. Tip is a skill to use when you are having severe distress tolerance. So if you're having a flashback or if you're having a panic attack, this would be a skill you use. And throughout the zine, I explain what each letter in the acronym of TIP stands for. Tip the temperature, finding a cold temperature to be in. Intense exercise, you can do a bunch of jumping jacks. Paced breathing, kind of breathing in for 5, out for 7. Impaired muscle relaxation, also known as progressive muscle relaxation. And so throughout the zine, I draw little doodles of people using these skills, and I have just different ways to utilize this skill depending on your abilities. And at the end of this zine, there are just steps to improving your skills and other ideas that I have about lowering intense distress tolerance. And on the back there's some affirming words and link. And so I actually have 4 of these for 4 different skills. This one is about distress tolerance, and then I have some about interacting with others in a way that gets you what you need while still respecting others' needs. And I have another one about, I think another one about distress tolerance, but not as intense. This is the mental health zine that I talked about. It's called Women in Mental Health. And this one's more factual, just about experiences that women have, why women might be disproportionately affected by mental illness, with some self-portraits actually. Not the greatest visual artist, so I'm still learning. But it is inclusive to anybody who identifies as a woman. And I guess the last major mental health zine that I have is Daddy Issues, and actually Volume 2 was released today, Friday. So the original Daddy Issues is a collection of experiences that I have based on my trauma relating to my father. Daddy Issues is often a taboo subject, but there are real experiences that people with fatherly trauma cope with throughout their life. So I'll read kind of a silly one first. This is from Daddy Issues 1, so this is a personal experience. This is what the page looks like. It has a picture of Colin Mockery. Daddy Issues is having weird random celebrity crushes that most people can't relate to. My friends in high school used to make fun of me when I would disclose I have a crush on people like Colin Mockery, Alan Rickman, or Conan O'Brien. They would ask me why I liked them, and I honestly wouldn't know the answer. I guess because they seemed like genuine, funny, responsible grown men? That's not really the juicy type of things my friend wanted to hear at slumber parties. I always wished I had a crush on Justin Timberlake or Demi Lovato like my friends, but I just didn't. Still don't. I can't fantasize about them tucking me in bed at night. So that's kind of the feeling around Daddy Issues. The original zine is kind of situations that I cope with, having trauma from my childhood, but putting a light spin on it. And so my main hope for this zine is that people find solidarity and validation from it. Daddy Issues 2, which just came out today, is actually an anthology of other people's experiences with trauma relating to their fathers. So I have a collection of, I think, 11 or 12 different people that submit to this zine, all with stories about their experiences. And these ones are a little bit more intimate stories. They're not all of them are as lighthearted as in Daddy Issues 1, but sometimes true experiences with trauma aren't lighthearted. And so I was really grateful to be able to amplify these people's voices and create an anthology of first-hand experiences, a primary resource for people who deal with childhood trauma, fatherly trauma. Yeah, so this is out right now. And I currently have a sale right now for, you can get both of these together for a little bit cheaper than you could just get one or the other. So I guess I'm going to share two more things. The first thing is my Who Am I zine. This came out maybe a month or two ago. As somebody who deals with mental illness, identity has always been kind of a complex topic for me. I always feel that my identity is malleable. Probably a better word than that, but I feel like I'm constantly changing, and sometimes it's unclear what my identity is. So Who Am I is an interactive zine about learning about your identity. The sticker art is not made by me. I wish I could do this art. But the sticker art is made by a person named Beanie Babies. You can find their Instagram and Etsy just by looking up Beanie Babies. And their art is gorgeous. And so some of the things in this zine, it starts off with a favorites list. It starts off with a self-portrait. What's your favorite clothing? What are these words that describe you? And as we go on, it gets a little bit more complex. It talks about your strengths and weaknesses, how you experience sexuality and romance, or if you do experience sexuality and romance. Some things about your proudest accomplishments. How do you identify with the spaces that you live in and the spaces that you spend time in? And there is a section about racial identity and ethnicity. And as a white American, I didn't really feel able to fully create a page about that. So I have a submission from a multi-ethnic person named, you can find their zines at Vlacinda Productions. Their Instagram is Vlacinda_stormdrain, and really good insight from them here. And at the end, there's a space for you to write an I am poem, just to kind of wrap up everything that you learned about yourself in the scene. This one's very popular. People really like this one. And then the other main thing I do is write poetry zines. This is more of a personal thing for me. I mostly create them for myself, but I do sell them. I love to share them. I love trading my poetry zines with other people who make poetry zines. And I write about mental illness, mental health. I write about non-monogamy, being queer. I'm pansexual. And yes, I wrote about my cat as well. So I'll just read a few poems to give an example. Here's one. This is from my short poems about attachment. Cosmic, cavernous craters stare straight into her spirit. Bottle green gestures billow. Momentary crescent moons rebound. Ripples revived. Elated emotions envelop her. And I'll read one more from this short poems about attachment. While swaddled in your arms, coos escape my grateful lips. Your benevolent caress derives a demure ardor from my heart. Your fervent empathy is my imprint. You are my luster. And that's about having a favorite person as somebody with borderline personality disorder. And then, let's see, I'll read maybe 2 more poems. This one is from my second poetry zine. I guess you could call it 25 Things You Don't Know About Me. It's just a collection of poems. Here's one from it. I don't really name my poetry. Wide, rambunctious eyes, orange hair that follows no law, fleeting love stories that never begin, admiration without hesitation, smirking, staring, feeling me, empathy. Finally done collecting tears, I'll take your smile once you disappear. Here's another one on a similar topic. How do you say goodbye to those you know, to those who know, understand the deepest crevices within your frazzled, tattered, flailing soul? My borderline tsunami shan't cross over her, start drowning her, when all she ever wanted was to surf a single wave. She is a gold-gilded page of yesterday's sorrow. So, yeah, poems about my experiences with love, with humanity, stuff like that. And maybe I'll read one to finish off. This is about my cat, Bela. She stands tall and proud at the front of her castle. As the door opens wide, she exclaims a warm welcome. Hips swaying gracefully, she walks into the kitchen, expecting her guests to follow. As all proper guests do, they've brought tasty snacks. Her mouth waters at the scent, but she licks her lips quietly, like a queen always should. They offer her delicious gifts before they have their own. As she indulges, compliments rain from the tongues of her admirers. How beautiful you look today. I've missed you oh so dearly. With just a brief look of thanks, she wanders off quietly. She's had her fill for today. She curls up in her box and falls asleep. So thank you so much for listening today. I really appreciate it. If you want to follow me on Instagram, my tag is Reflective Zines. And if you want to find me on Etsy, my shop is also etsy.com/shop/reflective zines. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.